Hey everyone, welcome to another video review. This is the Figma Ninomae from Hololive English Myth. You can see it there in front of the box. We're going to put it off the side real quick and take a look at that box, which is quite large for a Figma box. You can see that. You got, well, big old window showing everything. It's, well, most of the stuff's included. You got, of course, Ina standing right there. You got number 638, because that's what number she is. You got the Cover Corp logo and Hololive right there, and Production Max Factory up there. And on top you have, hey look, a pose of Ina plus more of the Figma stuff and whatnot. On this side, hey look, a pose of Ina. Surprise. And then, hey look, on this side, a pose of Ina. What do you know? And on the bottom you have, hey look, a pose of Ina. What a shock. And then in the background you have a whole bunch of Ina poses and whatnot, and hey, there's a picture showing you everything that's pretty much included, plus some warnings and stuff, and hey, ages 15 and up, because this is not for children. And of course inside the box you have, well, the figure and everything, but of course the instructions, which, you know, it comes in English and in Japanese, you know, so for Ninomae Ina-ness. Shows you how to, you know, all the stuff that should come in the box, how to deal with all this stuff, and, you know, attaching in warnings and stuff, and basically be careful, don't break your figure, because it's expensive. So there's that. So, Ina, the fourth member of Myth to come out in Figma 4, possibly the last, unfortunately. Getting in close, you can see this is a very, well, it's her, the very normal human Ina in Figma form. See, there's, I guess she got a little thing in her hair, a little bit nicely picked up with some, you know, yellowish gold there. You got her face looking all very pleasant smile. You got the little bit of yellow gradient right there. You got a little ear flaps, head flaps, hair flaps, what do you want to call them. You got a little collar right there, the white and black. You got her outfit, you know, the nice, you can see the pattern on there pretty nicely. You got all this stuff, the decorative stuff, the purple. You got the one sleeve, the black gloves. You got the little purple tassel thing, and the little weird, I guess, butt wings. You got the bit of yellow right there, and of course, again, a single, one bare leg, one covered. Again, the little flower-looking thing, the little platform shoes, heeled platform shoes. Her very long hair, again, with the gradient, and, you know, again, a bit of a gradient right there, all that stuff. And yeah, behind, also, you can see, again, you can see behind the hair is like, yeah, some detail right there. Yeah, because, yeah, Ina's back. So, there's all that. Yeah, it's Ina. And, you know, yeah, she looks pretty good. She looks pretty good overall. There is a couple things missing. I'll get into those, you know, a couple little accessories that are definitely not here quite, you know, but, you know, just gotta have to go through all this stuff first. Yeah, generally looks really good. At least mine does. So, posability-wise, she's also pretty decent. There's definitely a couple shortcomings. But, you know, pretty decent. Her head, as you can see, is on, you know, typical Figma joint. So you got the up and down, you know, right there. Forward and back. You got left and right. You got a little bit of waggle there. The hair itself, you can see there's a hinge right here, obviously. There's also, like, I believe these, I'm not sure if there's a hinge or a ball joint, but they can move separately. I think that might be just a hinge. But yeah, those can move separately if you want. There. So all that, the shoulders, you can see there is, you know, outward right there. That you got full forward and back. It's again, it's a ball joint, so you do have a little bit of rolling around in the ball joint as well. You do have a elbow joint, which, you know, nice little bend there. You can also swivel it right there as well. And also, it swivels right underneath the shoulder joint. There's that. Of course, the hand can swivel right there. There's also a hinge right there. You can, you know, adjust how the hinge sits so you can do different things. So there's that. Down here, there's a weird thing going on, which is, I'm going to have to pull it off the stand for this, which I'll get back to the stand in a little bit. And also the hair is kind of rubbery, so it does kind of just get out of the way a little pretty easily, which is good considering how long it is. But down here, there's a ab crunch thing, but it can't really go forward, unfortunately. It can only really go backwards, which only really works for very specific poses. But yeah, you can't really go forward because, well, this stuff just kind of, you know, the decorations here just bang into each other, so that's a little disappointing. But, you know, I get it. These the little wing things can maneuver a little bit. I'd be careful with them. They kind of feel a little thin, but they can maneuver up and down and outward a little bit. But yeah, again, be really careful with those. They kind of feel a little thin and fragile. Down here, there is a waist joint of sorts. It's a rotating waist joint, but it's very limited. I'm not sure how well you can see it, but you can see the orange yellow skirt bit moving a little bit, possibly. I hope you can see that. It does move, but not a whole lot, so you don't get a whole lot there. Her hips do the thing, which is kind of, I've never seen this on a Figma yet personally, but I'm not sure how long it's been around, but they've had before the whole, you can pull down the hips and, you know, so you can get a little more range. These ones, they specifically call out, you can pull them down individually. So you can see that right there. You can see, you know, the one's leg's a little longer, because yeah, you can pull them down individually so you can get a little bit more forward. Again, you can't get a whole lot, again, because the skirt is rubbery material, but you only get so much forward before it just kind of stops. Back, you do get a little, I guess, with the pull, you know, pulling it down a bit as well. You get a little bit back as well. Again, there's kind of a material kind of stopping it outward. You do, again, you pull it down like that. You get actually a decent amount outward. Be careful though, because I have noticed that the the legs pop off the joints really easily. So be careful in that. There is a bit of swivel in there. There is a thigh, again, there is a swivel. You can see there is a swivel, but unfortunately it's really easy for it to just pop off the ball joint, which is also really frustrating. There is supposed to be a swivel, but it just pops off the ball joint really easily. Not a whole lot of swivel though, but knees can bend pretty decently. You got about that much bend. You see? About that much bend. Leg came off the ball joint. Yeah, that's what I mean. The legs come off the ball joints really easily, unfortunately. You have that bit of bend there. There is technically a rotation there, but I would not recommend using it too much because it starts to look a little weird. Down here at the feet, of course, you do have forward and back on that joint. You do have rotation, and you do kind of have hinging. You're going to have to do some finagling to get the hinging to work in a way that's, you know, nice, but you do have a bit of tilting as well at the ankle. No toe joints or anything, just because, again, the nature of the feet don't lend themselves to that. There's also, oh, I forgot, there's also another joint right here at the base of the neck as well. It's just easily hidden, and so yeah, she can move her head forward. You can see that, give herself the drawer's hunch, the artist's hunch. She can stand without the, well, stand, but you know, it's a little tricky because weight distribution and whatnot. But she can stand without it. Speaking of the stand, it's a little bit different than most Figma stands. It's designed, you can see, it's designed to kind of go straight up, more or less straight up, rather than the usual, like most of them have this sort of thing going on, but hers is designed to go straight up. Also, mine has, and it's weird because there's little arrows there, which usually aren't there on these things. But yeah, you could see the hinges, multiple hinges, including this thing. This comes separate in the box, but you know, you're supposed to put that on. If you don't, she's gonna not quite fit properly, and of course this can rotate as well. So there is that, and of course, again, getting the hair out of the way, you can see the backside a little bit better too. Maybe get the hair that out of the way, and there's of course a peg hole, which of course initially was very stubborn about going on to the pegging in, but eventually she did so. So that's posability. Again, there are some limitations, noticeably that ab crunch doesn't really work for forward, and the hips like to pop off the joints really easily, but generally it works. But she does have a couple accessories, namely, one is this, her little halo thing, which this, you guys probably saw it, yeah, there's a peg hole in the back of the head, just, you know, very carefully, well, peg this in. It's got it's a translucent plastic painted, so it looks like it's, you know, to give the illusion that it's floating, which is nice. So there we go, that's one thing that was obviously missing. She also has, well, let's see, this little replacement joint just in case something breaks, which sometimes happens, particularly if you, I don't know, operate this in cold weather. There's a whole plinth of replacement hands because she has these open, kind of relaxed hands, but she also has, you know, these different pairs. She has a pair of like fists. She has a pair of one pair of holding hands. She has a different pair of holding hands, which I'll talk about a little bit. She also has a pair of pointing hands, although one of the fingers are a little weird looking. Really, yeah, the fingers kind of a little bent looking weirdly. She has alternate faces. She has her serene, smiling face right here. She also has her, you know, tomorrow face right there. And big old Ina smile. Big old wah face. You can see a little tooth right there too. Very cute. Also comes with a microphone. You see that? Just plain black. No, nothing special about that microphone. Look, there's a ancient one, you know, the book. There's a little thing in the back, a little stopper in the back for a reason. Also, one takodachi, looking very content. There, just had some cookies. A little stand, which this is for the Takodachi and the book. This clips onto the existing Figma stand. See, it's translucent plastic and also has, you know, a ball joint at the base. There's a hinge right there and a hinge right there. A little ball joint right there for things to attach to. And of course, the big thing is, well, the tentacles. Yep, her tentacles right here. Right there, and as you can see, it ends in the clear stand, which, yeah, it comes with this little clear stand, which you plug this into, and there you go, and that goes behind her, if you like, and there you go, that's the complete look. Unfortunately, I wish like the Nendoroid, it did, like, attach to her. It doesn't, unfortunately. I understand why, but it's still a little disappointing. It's like, I get why, but also, man, I wish they made it work, because it just kind of, as it stands, just, you know, kind of floats behind her, and even then there has to be a little bit of a gap, so it's just kind of, you're giving the illusion that's coming out from behind her, or the illusion that's attached and not, you know, actually attached, which is a bit of a disappointment to me. Of course, there is the bag, which everything can be stored in, just Figma branded bag. And if you pre-order from the Good Smile shop, either the US or international version, you got this bag right here, which again, Takodachi on it, and because you get this little Takodachi, a big old smile, kind of a concerning smile. So you got all that, and yeah, pretty straightforward on this. Some of the stuff with this, like for example, the stand, you just clip it on somewhere, like there, and then you can you know, have one of the Takodachi, either one, just, you know, unplug that little thing in the back and then just pop it onto the ball joint like that, and yeah, you can have a Takodachi kind of floating around if you want, or you can use that with the book. Again, same thing, just pulp that off and then pop the book on, and there you go. You can do that if you like. Let's get this out of the way though. And also make sure, if you're not using, remember when you're not using them, to put this back in just in case you do not want those holes to shrink or anything. Probably won't, but you never know. Let's pull this out of the way real quick. There. So from beyond that, there's one weird thing they show on the box, which is kind of interesting, which is there's also posability on this thing, which is yeah, this thing can rotate forward on that thing. There's a rotation point right, you see there's a rotation point right here as well, and on the actual stand there is a little bit of a forward back there, not really side to side though, but yeah, forward and back there on that thing. So you can, it's a weird thing, it's like it barely works because there's not a whole lot of room. You kind of have to rotate this in front of her and like do this whole weird thing where it's like hugs real close, and yeah, it's kind of weird. Right here they specifically show that right here, you can see this little bit in the tentacle. You can have the microphone just right there, so yeah, you can sing in the microphone and holding with the tentacle and whatnot if you like. So there is that. Get this out of the way, be careful with that. So there is all that. As for swapping faces, of course, pretty easy, pretty much like every other Figma. You just pop the front of the hair off, pop the this thing face out, and then actually, yeah, I'm gonna use this one. Pop this, you know, pop a different one in, and there you go. There's a different face, pretty straightforward. And with the hands, again, pretty straightforward as well. Just again, strongly recommend to put this the wrist at an angle, then pop off the hand. Be careful with that. And then of course you can put a different hand on there. It should click when it's all the way on. Might not click hard, but it should click somewhat. So you can do that. This hand, of course, this is the first set of gripping hands. So this, yes, it can hold the microphone as well. So you can look creepy. You do that. So yeah, the other thing is they show specifically these hands right here are supposed to, I'm going to do that real quick. Yeah, the second set of gripping hands are supposed to be able to hold the book. Now, the problem is, I discovered, I don't know if they did something wrong or what, but these hands, it almost feels like the peg holes, the holes in the hands are not quite long enough to actually attach properly. You can see there is a gap right there. I'm not sure if you can see that, but there is a gap right there on the hand. And I can't get the peg on any further. I don't want to break anything. So yeah, unfortunately, it seems like the peg holes in the hand, these particular set of hands, these are the only hands. All the other hands are fine, but for whatever reason, this particular set of hands, they don't peg on all the way. It didn't help on this peg right here. There was a bit of excess mold flash on there, so I had to snip off. But yeah, it feels like I might have to like drill in there with a Dremel and just kind of drill in the hand a little bit further just to get these hands to sit on properly. Because as it stands, yeah, dang, she's going off to the side, real weird. As it stands, yes, these hands do hold the book. You can see that, yeah, they can hold the book. Very similar to how the Nendoroid does it, but unfortunately, the hands don't exactly stay on very easily. They come off really easily, as I discovered when I almost lost this hand because I was trying to get to go on. It was like, pew, and it was flying off, and I just lost it for a second. But I found it again, but thankfully, but yeah, it's just like, yeah. It's a little disappointing that those hands don't work particularly well, but the other hands, they all work just fine. It's just that specific set of hands doesn't seem to work properly. Yeah, that specific set of hands doesn't seem to work properly. Every other set, all the other three, I guess, or 4 other sets, all work just fine. I have an idea, she says. Says Ina quite calmly. Said Ina quite calmly. Yeah, that's the big problem. Just simply that particular set of hands. Yeah, that's the big annoyance. It's just simply that particular hands and some of the articulation stuff. But as for some measurements, to the top of her head, she is about 6.5 inches or 6 inches tall, or 15.2 centimeters. Actually, that includes the ear flaps, doesn't include the halo. And the tentacles from the bottom, that also doesn't include the stand either. It adds like another 1/4 inch. The tentacles are about 7.75 inches tall, or 19.7 centimeters. They're pretty tall. And the weight of the figure is 2.2 ounces, or 62 grams, and the tentacles by themselves are 8.7 ounces, or 246 grams. So it's one of those things, okay, yeah, you can understand maybe why the tentacles don't attach to the actual figure. These are heavy comparatively. So there is that. So as for some comparison stuff. You know what? First, let's start with her. Here is the Nendoroid Ina from a while ago. Give you an idea there. Here is the #1 Takodachi Prime Flare. Give you an idea on that. And here is the rest of Myth in Figma form. Yeah, and possibly this might be the whole group. I don't know what's going to happen because Ame was shown off in gray. A gray prototype of Ame was shown off, but they might have quietly canceled it must because, well, she graduated. Now, granted, she did that special graduation, but they may have decided it's not worth it because, well, she's no longer active, therefore it might not sell. So they might have just quietly canceled it because I haven't heard anything about that Figma since they showed a gray prototype like, what, a year and a half ago? So, yeah. So yeah, that's the Figma Ina. Pretty solid overall. This is literally solid. But it's pretty solid Figma. She comes in, obviously, she comes in a much bigger box than usual. Because basically her accessory, one of her accessories in particular, is huge. She has pretty good posability for the most part. Unfortunately, her ab joint right there is a little limited. Unfortunately, her waist is a little limited, and her hips to pop out really easily. And also on mine, one pair of hands in particular just really does not like to, well, stay on. I'm gonna have to look into that. It might be just I might have to drill into the plastic a little more, but that also might be simply a case of if I do that, there's a hole, So I'm a little worried about like possibly being a hole. Like if I drill too much into it, it might be a hole on the other side. And that's it. They're ruined. Yeah, generally she's a pretty good Figma. for the most part. I don't have any real issues outside of that. Most of the joints are pretty nice and snug. I'm a little disappointed in the way that the tentacles don't attach to Figma. I get why, but I'm a little disappointed in figure out engineer a way to make it happen anyway. But I totally understand why. I kind of wish there was maybe like one more face option of some sort, maybe a little bit, but that's not the end of the world. But beyond that, the price is, what was it? How much I paid for it? Unfortunately, thanks to, she's a bit more expensive than usual Figma. She came in closer to like $120 before tariffs. That was shipping with, price, tax, and shipping, everything. She came up to about $120. Unfortunately, with the tariffs and everything, she cranked up to just shy of $150, which, considering how much she has in the box, is a lot more worth it than, say, the recent Suisei and Miko, which were pretty much the same price, but also were way, way less. So yeah, she does have a lot in the box, and she's a pretty solid Figma overall, and there was I didn't have any real breakage issues, unlike, my Miko, so there is that. So I think she's a pretty solid value, and if you're a Takodachi, you'll love this thing, and if you haven't already ordered it. But yeah, if you're just generally connecting like the Hololive stuff in general, she's a pretty solid ad regardless. So yeah, just know that she is kind of on the spendier side, but she's not horrible, all things considered, considering how much stuff she comes with. So there you go. I hope you found this review informative and entertaining. Hope you like, comment, subscribe. Check out my social medias down in the description and at the end of the video. Check out my Coffee Man Patreon. I shall see you next time in another video review.